Now, I'm sure we had expected the lead investigator to bring up some hard-hitting stuff on this case, right? With him being at the helm of this investigation for years. But what came out this week was kind of explosive, you guys. It was very explosive. We got to hear this was a hit to start with, not a robbery. We got to even hear that the person behind this hit was possibly the girlfriend of the deceased, Kelly.
I am woman, I am fearless, I am sexy, I'm divine, I'm unbeatable, I'm creative, honey, you can get it in line.
Well, hello everybody, welcome back. My name is Pelmo Chabani. I'm sure by now you've had a whole week of being bombarded by the news of Kelly Khumalo possibly being the one who ordered a hit on his boyfriend. I know I'm a little behind in catching you guys up on this, but we're better late than never, right? I'm not going to touch on the wider array of the proceedings over the course of the week, because I feel like the crux of the matter really came from the statement that was read by the brigadier to the court. His statement, not somebody else's statement, his statement to the court. Advocate Mgomezulu requested for the statement to be read to the court, and I'm sure after that statement, we were all like, thank you, Advocate Tulani Mgomezulu, because we pretty much got to have a sneak peek into what these alleged confessions are saying to some extent. And most importantly, after 10 years, we got to know exactly where the police investigations have placed the girlfriend of the deceased. So in this statement, the brigadier from the very onset, he indicated that it was a contract killing. So no one came there to get a phone. No one came there to get money. They came there for that man to a very large extent. Accused number 1 and 2 not only confessed, but in very clear terms pointed out that Kelly Khumalo, the girlfriend of the deceased at that time, was the one who ordered this hit. Accused number 2, apparently he went on to further offer to testify against his fellow co-accused. Now coming back to accused number 1 and 2, alleging that that the instructions came from Kelly, right? Brigadier Geninda mentioned that investigations have shown that Kelly had been in possession of 4 cell phone numbers at that time. 4 cell phone numbers that were not disclosed to the police. And those numbers were linked to cell phone communication with the perpetrators, accused number 3 and 5. I mean, who needs 4 numbers? And then again, there was the issue of cell phone memory. It looked like the cell phone memory from accused 3 and 5. It showed that there was a bag of money that was extracted there, which looked similar to the same bag that was also seen in Kelly's cell phone memory. The similar bag with stacks of money in it. What's with the coincidence? She was also alleged to have gone to see a traditional healer for cleansing. It's just too much of a coincidence. The accused men went for a cleansing with the traditional healer, and Kelly also went for a cleansing with the traditional healer. The similar bag with stacks of money in both cell phone memories. 4 cell phone numbers that were not disclosed, but these cell phone numbers show communication or link her to communicating with these perpetrators, accused number 3 and 5. If all of this is not made up, why on earth would anyone be in any kind of contact with the people who killed her baby daddy? Why would anyone be in contact with killers, especially killers of her own baby daddy? I could never think of any reason why anyone would do that. Why? What are they discussing? And the bag of money, what are they transacting on? What are they transacting on? Or maybe was she trying to buy a firearm? I mean, apparently, accused number 2 is a well-known supplier of firearms and ammunition. So maybe she might just come out and say she was trying to buy a firearm. Cell phone communication had also shown that From as far back as 2013, Kelly was not happy in her relationship with the soccer star. She was not happy, and that she wanted to get rid of him. That sounded very damning. If that's true, that sounded very, very damning. But if I played devil's advocate for just a brief second, right? The messaging between her and her sister, Zandi, is very possible. It's very possible to find somewhat trashy messages between the two siblings, especially if one of them is in a bad relationship. I mean, we all know that if you have a sister, you know that at some point, if she's going through a rough time with a boyfriend, you might like indulge them a little bit and trash the boyfriend just to make sure that they feel better a little bit. But does it mean you want to have him killed? No, definitely not. But it's hard to even look at it from that angle. It's very hard to even look at it from that angle when one looks at how everyone in that house, how everyone behaved after this man was shot. I mean, no one was rushing to get him help. No one was rushing to call the police. No one was rushing to call the ambulance. Like everyone called everyone else except for help. So yeah, the theory of mastermind for this whole thing being the girlfriend can seem somewhat convincing when you look at the version of events and what actions were taken by the people in the house. I mean, if anything, everybody else could have called their families back at home. They could have called their friends. But Kelly, being the girlfriend at the time, she should have been the one to at least call the ambulance. But she didn't. If she was so disgruntled, why didn't she just leave the man? Why didn't she just leave the man to go back to his wife? The man was married. This is just, the man was married. But in any way, with the whole thing had me thinking, what is the angle of the defense here? What is the angle of the defense? Because Advocate Mngomezulu insisted on the statement to be read, right? But it was really not looking good for his client, accused number 2 as well. The statement put accused number 2 in the Khumalo house, in the crime scene. It pointed him out as a firearms dealer. When asked why, in light of all of these things, a warrant of arrest was not issued for Kelly Khumalo, the brigadier said he had not used any discretion, right? Meaning he didn't choose to remove Kelly from the list of suspects, but he had instead drafted a memo of presentation to the DPP on all suspected individuals, including Kelly. But a decision was taken at that meeting with the DPP to only call forth the 5 men that we now see on the stand. Now, the big question is why? What about the one who was said to have instructed the killing? Could there be somebody up there who's trying to have that side of the investigation to stay hidden? Yeah, definitely looks like it. So why would they remove her from persons of interest in this case? Well, as always, let me hear your thoughts on this. Please remember to hit the subscribe button, to hit the like button. I'll definitely see you very soon. Bye-bye.